Hey everyone, welcome to the video and thanks for watching. So this is part 2 of my Rivermen Style Power Rankings. And like I said, the lower I go in the list here, the harder by far it gets to rank these teams. Um, like I said, I was pretty comfortable with who I put at number 5. But I tell you, 1 through 4, they could be anywhere in those top 4 rankings. I mean, you can legit make an argument for all 4 of them, especially numbers 2, 3, and 4. Man, you can just about place them anywhere in the top 4. In all honesty, and you wouldn't be much off or wrong. So, like I said, this is where I would like to see other people's opinions and what they think of where I rank these teams. And again, just remember, these are my honest opinions. This is not like a Riverman fan only perspective type opinion. Like I really did try to be fair on all fronts about this. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off at number 5, and I got the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs there. They got 17 points on the season. They're 8-5-1. In their last 10 games, they're 7-3, so they've been playing much better as of late. Goals for is 50, and goals against is 44. And they are playing the Ice Bears for the next game. So, again, another big game, an important game for the Dogs. Some of their special teams number on the power play, they're 13 for 56. And so that's operating at a 23% success rate. So, again, that's above 20, and that's where we want to see it. And it's closer to 25 than 20. So, again, that's a good place to be at. And the penalty kill is 10 for 52 at 80% success. Again, that's not a bad PK number, but you'd like to see that come up a bit, especially to compete with the top teams. Team leaders so far, that's leading in like points and stuff. Captain Nick Ford, he's got 23 points on the season, 5 goals. So he's been having a great year for him. Gustav Miller, he's got 12 points and 7 goals for the Dogs this year. I think he's a newcomer for him, and he's really stepped into a big role. Mac Jansen has 11 points and 7 goals, so production as usual for him. And I think he was a new addition like midway through the year last year, if I'm not mistaken, Tommy Municello. 11.7 goals, and I always liked Tommy Municello from day one, no matter where he's played. I would love to see him in a Riverman sweater one day. I mean, he's a great player to have. The goaltending, Austin Rodebush, he's 7-4-1 as the netminder with no shutouts yet this year. His goals against average is 2.88, and his save percentage is .898, so just barely under 90%. Rodebush kind of had a rough start to the season, but he's been getting better as the year's gone along, which is expected. He is their main guy. They do need Rodebush to be successful, for that team to be successful. Backup goalie is Tyler Roy, and he's 0-1 on the season. Obviously, no shutouts, with a 5.57 goals against average and a .833 save percentage. So you see how important Austin Rodebush is to the Dogs' success, So, yeah, he's got to be more consistent and carry a little bit more of that load, because there's not much help in the backup spot, according to the numbers. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment for Dogs right now. They are like a middle of a pack team that is improving. And again, you can see them fluctuate up and down, but I think you'll always see Dogs hang around the middle. Moving on to number 4, again, I thought hard about this one, and it was really hard for me to put them at 4. I was like, I can't believe I'm putting them at 4, but I felt like I had to, and that's the Birmingham Bulls. I know Bulls fans will be like, okay, whatever, that's a little high, but and ordinarily I would agree with you. That does seem, a little high for Bulls. It's not like they're having a bad year by any means, but that just goes to show you how well the top teams are playing. It's really hard to rank them. So, again, the Bulls are sitting in third place with 21 points. They do play the Thunderbolts coming up. The Thunderbolts play the Bulls tough, so it'll be an interesting game. Bulls are 9-3-2-1 on the season, and in their last 10, they're 5-5, which is part of the reason, too, I got them ranked at 4. Their goals for is 54 on the season. Their goals against is 42. So again, that's a good ratio to have for the Bulls. We know Bulls have goal scorers on that team and 2 outstanding netminders. Team leaders for the team, Carson Rose, again, 18 points, 15 goals, which is ridiculous. I mean, Carson Rose is the best goal scorer in the SPHL. I don't think anybody would dispute that. And could be well on his way to another MVP type season. So, again, Carson Rose, what a wonderful asset to have. Then you got Drake Glover right behind him with 15 points and 7 goals. Michael Gillespie with 17 points, 5 goals. And Nikita Kazarev with 12 points and 4 goals. I think these 4 players it is the big core that really holds this team together and really makes that engine go, anchored by their backstop with Hayden Stewart and Austin Lotz. Like this core group is what makes the Bulls go and successful. Hayden Stewart is 5-1-2, no shutouts on the year, with a 2.83 goals against average and a .911 save percentage. Again, not bad numbers at all to have. Austin Lott's numbers is pretty good. You can almost make an argument for him being the full-time starter instead of splitting time. He's 4-2, also no shutouts, but his goals against average is a 2.54, and his save percentage is a .927. So both are a little bit better than Hayden Stewart. I know Hayden Stewart has played more games than Austin Lotz, but again, these are pretty similar goalies right now. So, it's a good problem to have, to say the least. Obviously, Bulls can shoot up higher than number 4. I wouldn't be surprised at all if in one of these rankings I put them at number 1 eventually. I mean, they're that good of a team. Just right now, that's where I got them, and I think that's pretty fair, but again, it could change at any time, just as well as the rest of them. At number 3, we're going to move on, and like I said, keep in mind 2, 3, 4. This was all hard for me, and I really tried to look at this neutral. But at number 3, I did put the Fayetteville Marksmen for now, and not by much. I wanted to put Fayetteville at number 2. I really did. And like I said, if everybody else puts Marksman at 2, I won't even argue against that because you could very easily put him there. But I got him at 3, and I'll explain why. But right now they got 25 points and are in second place with a 12-4-1 record. And in the last 10 games, they're 6-4. Yes, that's above 500 and a good number. So, but again, that's also part of the reason why they're 3 and not 2. This is also part of the reason they're not at 2 yet, and that's their goals for is 57 and goals against 46. Again, that's a good margin to have. You're ahead with the goals for and everything. I'm not saying that's bad, but there's teams that are better with those margins. On the power play for Fayetteville, they're 10 for 52 at 19%. Again, that's a little low for them. They are definitely capable of higher numbers on the power play. You would expect them to definitely be above 20% with the roster they have. So you could definitely see room for improvement there. But where they are strong on special teams is their penalty kill. And that's 6 goals allowed out of 49 chances, operating at an 87% success rate. So, again, that's an outstanding PK number to have for special teams. Um, and, again, like I said, if their power play catches up to that, I can justify putting them a little higher than 3. Team leaders points wise, we got Tyler Barrow at 16 points and 6 goals. John Malkovich at 15 points and 10 goals. Both outstanding players. Tyler Barrow, former Riverman, so I know firsthand how good he is. Dalton Hunter, I'm a big fan of his. I like the way he plays. 15 points, 10 goals. And Grant Loven, close to 11, but I'm pretty sure it's Loven. 15 points and 5 goals. I think those 4 players, again, that's a great core to have. Leading your team and producing for your team, and a lot does rest on those 4 shoulders, as well as their net miner, Ryan Kinney. I mean, they do depend on him to have big games as well. Their team defense, is pretty good in front of Ryan Kinney now, getting better. It wasn't that great to start the year, but it's progressed as the year has progressed. So Ryan Kinney is 10-2-1 with 1 shutout on the year and a 2.49 goals against average, which is a good number, and a .92 save percentage. So again, Ryan Kinney's doing his job. He's being successful. He's doing enough for this team to be successful. New addition Mason Beaupitt. I think that was a great pickup by Fayetteville Marksmen to back up Ryan Kinney. I hated seeing him go, but obviously at the time we weren't going to carry 3 goalies. He's got 1 win with him, no shutouts, a 2.0 goals against average, and a .941 save percentage. So like I said, I think Mason Beaupitt will fit in nicely, especially in the backup role. Fayetteville, like I said, this team you can argue at number 2, and even knocking on the door number 1. I'm sure Birmingham Bulls would say we should have been ranked ahead of Marksmen. Like I said, it's a lot easier said than done when you actually look at the numbers. So, moving on, we got the number 2, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it's the Peoria Rivermen. I got them at number 2, and that's my honest assessment of the team right now. Because, again, they didn't have the strongest start to start this year, but literally every single game they've evolved and improved, and they keep doing so. So, Rivermen right now are currently in 4th with 20 points. They have 3 games in a row coming up with Macon Mayhem. So, and it's in Macon. So, it's a big 3-game set. Got to take 2 out of 3. The Rivermen are 9-3-2 on the year. And again, this is why I got them ranked 2, especially over Fayetteville Marksmen. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. So, a better win percentage there. The goals for is 54, but the goals against is 29, which is the lowest in the league at 29. That speaks to goaltending. That speaks to team defense, even special teams penalty killing. To only allow 29 goals thus far in the year, those things have got to be improving and clicking. And so that's a big reason why Rivermen are in the number 2 position. And like I said, with their special teams, they're 16 for 66 on the power play, operating at 24%, just under 25%. And their penalty kill is 8 for 63, operating at 87%. So again, Rivermen's team defense and special teams is a big reason why they are at number 2. And their goaltending as well has been pretty locked in, especially with Colby Muse at net. Also getting Warrior Player of the Month with his numbers. Some team leaders and points with the Rivermen. Alec Bear has 15 points, our captain, and 8 goals. He's been outstanding from game 1 all the way through now. Jordan Ernst, he's got 12 points and 10 goals. Like I said, Jordan Ernst is a bona fide goal scorer and a sharpshooter, and he will pick a goalie apart top shelf. Excellent release and shot and accuracy for Jordan Ernst. Mike McChesney, new addition, center. He's got 11 points and 6 goals on the year and is a great special teams center. He's got a couple shorthanded goals on the year. Carlos Forneris, again, a new addition this year. 10 points, 4 goals. And this guy's electric. He's like the Energizer Bunny out there. He'll lay a good hit. Not afraid of those board battles and getting physical. And a pretty good shot as well. He's not afraid to get dirty. Zach Wilkie's been having a pretty decent year. He's got 13 points, 1 goal on the year. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I think Wilkie can do better. I think he thinks he can do better too. I'm not trying to be hard on him. The dude's played excellent. He's a leader on our team. And so I had to include him. And Zach Nazareth is a leader, but he got called up recently to the ECHL, but he had 12 points and 7 goals. And Zach Nazareth is like a point-a-game player. He's an outstanding asset to have. You know, at our backstop, at goaltending, we got 2 of the best, and the numbers back that up. We got Colby Muse, who's 8-2-1, with 2 shutouts. That leads the league. With a 1.73 GAA, that leads the league. And a .32 save percentage. And this is after the results of the last game. So this includes the game we just lost to Havoc and the 3 goals on 12 shots. So, again, he's still amongst the leaders in pretty much every statistical category for a goaltender. The backup goalie right now is Nicholas Latinovich. He has not played a game yet, but I think his credentials speak for themselves. He was the runner-up goaltender of the year last year and won the championship with the Rivermen last year. So I think everybody knows what type of goaltender Nick Latinovich is. So if Colby Muse keeps doing what he's doing with a goalie like Nick Latinovich backing him up, that's why I say Rivermen have the best number 1 and 2 in the league. And you'd be hard-pressed to disagree with that. You could make arguments, but in my mind, you're not going to change it on who's got the best 1 and 2 goalie in the league. So with that being number 2, we finally arrived at our ranking number 1, who's also in first place at the time, and that's the Huntsville Havoc. This is a very dangerous and confident team right now. They are clicking on all cylinders. Team defense, offense, they know how to score goals, and their team defense is much improved. And just everything's working for them right now. They just got done beating the Rivermen 3-2. Just an excellent executed game by them. 28 points, 13-2-2 on the year. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Goals for is 60, a couple above Rivermen. And their goals against is 38, which is second best. And you've seen it's almost a 10-goal difference between the Havoc and Rivermen. It's a 9-goal difference when it comes to goals allowed. So, again, that tells you where the Rivermen's at, and again, why I got them ranked number 2. They play Marksman coming up, so that's a big game between Marksman and Havoc. And that's going to be one that I'm going to have my eye on. The power play for Havoc is 14 for 70, operating at 20%. Okay, they're at that 20% mark at least. But with a team like Huntsville Havoc, the roster they have, the goal scorers they have, you would expect that number to be closer to 25%. The PK, 11 for 60 at 81%. Again, not bad. It's above 80. But again, with a team like Havoc, you would like to see that around 85%, and they're more than capable of doing that with the roster they have. So I do look for those special teams numbers to improve over the course of the year, because right now their special teams is probably the weakest part of their game. Team leaders in points and stuff is Jack Janich. He has 22 points and 10 goals. I'm a huge Jack Janich fan. Again, I think this is an MVP type candidate. He's having a monster year for Havoc and just has a wicked shot. I mean, the goal he scored in Peoria was awesome. I mean, I just wish it wasn't against us. Buster Larson, 18.6 goals. Again, that guy's a beast of a player. Big fan of his. Austin Alger, 13.8 goals. When they added him, they knew what they were doing. That added so much depth to this team and made him so dangerous. And Matt Allen's been having a great year for Havoc. 13 points, 4 goals on the year. I mean, I can definitely list more players that's contributing big to the Havoc, but I don't have time to list the entire roster. I could have done the same thing with the Rivermen too. So I'm just saying these are some of the guys that's really been leading the team in points and stuff and contributing. They're two goaltenders. Again, that's an argument you can make for the best 1 and 2 combo, and it's a damn good argument. But again, I would still rank the Rivermen 1 and 2 combo better than these guys. But Mike Robb, he is 8-2-1, no shutouts on the year, surprisingly, with the 2.44 goals against and a .919 save percentage. You know, again, good numbers to have, successful numbers to have. And some can argue Brian Wilson might have some better numbers and could be a number 1 starter too. I mean, he's 5-0-1, also no shutouts, with a 1.81 goals against average and a .951 save percentage. I mean, those are pretty outstanding numbers, even for a backup, and it's not like he's played very little. I mean, he's 5-0-1. So, I mean, those are good numbers to have for being credited 6 games. Like I said, you can make an argument for him being a starter, honestly. So, they got 2 number 1s. You know, it's the same story with the Rivermen. They got 2 number 1s. You know, that's a good problem to have. Again, Huntsville Havoc is a very, very hungry team. Very hungry. They sniffed a President's Cup. Won the first game in Huntsville. They only had to win 1 more and lost the next 2 in Peoria and watched Rivermen raise the President's Cup. To be that close and not win it, you know that's made them hungry, and it shows. Not many people are going to like this prediction, and I'm not just saying this is my absolute prediction. I'm just saying it's realistic and could happen. Depends on how point standings shake out and how the playoff standings shake out and everything. But realistically, you could see a rematch for the President's Cup between the Huntsville Havoc and Peoria Rivermen. But that's not to count out anybody else. There's at least 3 other teams that can make an argument to say, yeah, we got a chance at the Cup too. And I would have to agree. So those are my rankings. We'll see what you guys think of them. Hopefully you understand why I put them where I put them. And I know some will still disagree with me, and that's okay. So please don't be afraid to share your opinions and your rankings and let me know what you think. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. And I look forward to doing this more throughout the year. I'll probably redo this again in January and redo the power rankings. So until then, I'll see you at the next puck drop. And I always keep it Rivermen style.